So this video is just gonna be about like an overview of creating and managing Active Directory users and computers, I guess, because it applies to that too. So to start off here, so there's many different ways you can actually create your users, and the first one I'll be going or demonstrating will be in Active Directory users and computers. So I'll just start off by making an OU, an organizational unit, which is it's kind of like a folder, I guess, or like just like the name suggests, you use it to kind of organize where certain entities in the network go. Um, for example, like a company might have a organizational unit called marketing, and here's where all the marketing stuff would be, like marketing users, computers, and whatnot. Um, so it just kind of lets you, it's for organization. I like to think of it like when you create folders on a computer, even though it's not exactly the same, but um, it's kind of like a folder, looks like a folder, slightly different though. Um, so then to create a user and users and computers, you just right click, go to new, and then click user. Here you can specify the name and last name, initials as well, but it's kind of not needed. It's not required. And then the logon name here, which is what will be used when this person tries to log um, into the Windows machine at the sign-in page. And then you're gonna have to specify password, and depending on the group policy requirements or group policy settings set, the password has to meet a certain criteria. And you have many different options here, like disabling the account, changing the password, and so on. And then you just have a summary of what happened. So then once your user's created, you could do many different things. First thing is copy. This is kind of like, you can use this to create templates. Like if you have a template, you can just copy users over and over and just change certain things to kind of speed up the process. Add them to a group, disable accounts, reset password, so if someone's forgotten theirs or whatnot, you can just right click, simply do it here. Unlock the account if it's been locked. Maybe they tried their password too many times and got it wrong. You can move it to different OUs or containers and whatnot. And properties, this is a place where you can do many different things. You can control like what groups they're part of, and you can also add them to different groups. So here we're gonna add John Brown to administrators. If I go to account, I can change their login name, their hours, which hours are they allowed, which computers can they log on to. If I could set the account expiry dates. Maybe they're temporary employee, and I need to stop access after a certain date. Got a lot of different encryption and authentication types. Some info about their address, telephones, organization, etc. So we can just apply it, press OK. And we can also kind of this is kind of like a search, I guess, button. And you can just search for anything in the whole domain or directory. So let's say if someone wants me to reset their password and I just have their name, let's just pretend it's the admin for some reason. Everything under that name will come up, and from there on I can do whatever I need to do for them, which is nice. And you can also add users through Active Directory Administrator Center. So if we just go to my domain here and then click new and then user, a menu kind of opens up here, and this one's kind of a lot more detailed than the other one is. So you got a lot of different tabs here: the password settings, the profile, and whatnot. So you have this option along with the users and computers option. And if we go into Active Directory, or not Active Directory, sorry, PowerShell, which we'll go to right now. Here we can also create users, and PowerShell is probably better than using the GUI like we did, solely because it's a lot faster than going over and over in the GUI. And you know, in an actual company, you'd probably be making lots of users if you're a really big company. So for example, we can use the new -ad user command. Just make the name John. Obviously, for our actual user, you'd make a lot of different parameters like name and, you know, account password and whatnot. But just to see here, we can head on over to the administrative center, users, and we can see here John's been made. He is disabled though, so we can obviously enable his account from here. We can also use PowerShell to enable his account. So if we use like enable AD user, or it might be account. Let's see. Let's see what we did wrong. Okay, so it turns out what we did wrong is didn't have to use the -name parameter. So if I enter this, obviously it would work, but the password, we didn't really set a password, so it's not gonna enable it. So if I go and reset the password for John to a proper one that matches the requirements, which is like a letter, you know, you gotta have a certain amount of letters, certain amount of capital letters and whatnot. If we try now, it works. And let's take a look now in users. So we can see here he's good, he's activated or enabled, and he's in our system. So that's how you can use PowerShell to enable, disable, add, manage, you know. Delete, I think it's one, might be remove. Yeah, so it's remove AD user, and now we have removed John over here. Might just take a while to update, that's fine. Lastly, just to add some stuff in the overview, PowerShell has some tools or features. One is CSVDe .exe. So what you can do with this is, and along with some of the other tools that PowerShell has, is you can actually like import like Excel files, and that'll basically allow you to kind of do a mass importation of many different users. So you know, if you're like a company, like a school for example, that's always adding users, like new students or whatnot, you know, you might want to do it in a way where you can mass do it in a like a mass production, or add lots of users at once rather than over and over for each user, you know, going to here and right clicking and clicking user, because obviously that's not efficient at all. So yeah, CSVDe is one of the tools There's also LDIFDE, which uses LDF files. The other one uses CSV files, and there's also more as well. So now I'll just kind of be demonstrating templates. So yeah, basically you can just create a user called user template. Set the password. Just disable the account because you're not going to need this one anyways. Then once you copy, you just can go ahead, enter in the information, all based off the template. Oh, that was my password. But yeah, you can just use copy and just have a template ready like that, and you can just keep copying from this template over and over and over again as much as you need. It doesn't seem all too useful at first, but you know, if you have lots of things configured for it, like let's say if we add the template to administrators and then copy it again, make a user called Joe Brown. If we go here now, we can see that this person's an administrator and we didn't have to add him whatsoever. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say is the template's only really useful if you have a lot of things configured. So yeah, if I had kind of like, you know, all these things filled out, or the addresses filled out and whatnot, all this information would transfer over, and you know, it's probably nice to have a template for, you know, each department or whatever it may be. Like for example, if this was a school like BCIT, I would have a student template, which would, you know, somewhat help speed up the process of creating users over and over again. But the fastest way is probably through command line or something like that, and not through here. So yeah, anyways, that's just a kind of like an overview, explanation, and whatnot of just creating and managing Active Directory users and computers. So thank you for watching.